Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Saddest Night Out. My name is Roy, and I'm the host of this daily podcast, and it's primarily about music and creative culture in London. Today, we have something of a hallowed guest in our midst. She was the only remaining host of UK open mic nights that I hadn't spoken to, but now I have. People, please join me in welcoming Justine to the podcast. She is an incredibly creative and incredibly busy person around London. We start our conversation with her telling me what she's been up to most recently, but then we delve into the history of her creative career in London and what she has coming up over the horizon. I caught up with her at last night's open mic. I wasn't hosting, George was hosting, who we heard on last week's episode on Monday. Maybe Tuesday episodes might become something I routinely record from Banh Bao Brothers. But that's where we were today, or when this was recorded, outside Banh Bao Brothers restaurant in Leek Street, which, by the way, they changed the graffiti on a pretty regular basis. Since the first time I was there, the graffiti just outside of this restaurant has completely changed. So that's something new that I learned. But the graffiti is second fiddle to our guest today. Please enjoy this chat with Justine, and I'll catch up with you a bit more afterwards. I am outside Banh Bao Brothers, and I'm here with a particularly prestigious guest because he is the last member of the UK open mic team to be on the podcast. Will you kindly introduce yourself to the listeners?
Well, hello. I am Justine. I am a singer, a songwriter, a producer, and I occasionally partake in acting as well. Yeah.
Speaking of acting, what have you been acting in this last week?
Oh my god! So, without giving too much away and not
of course, yeah,
damaging the clause I had to sign, it was a HBO series which I was acted in all last week in a Victorian corset, undergarment, overgarment, shirt, makeup, 6 a.m. calls, but it was all worth it in the end.
Yeah. Even though it was the hottest day of the year last week.
Oh my god, yeah. I would not recommend pantyhose in the hottest day of the year. I would not. Socks up to your knees and the 3 layers and velvet, I would not. But like I said, it was all worth it in the end. So trying to keep a positive feel about it,
It's all about the experience, It's all about the experience. Now you can say you've done that.
Yeah.
Well, when you're not wearing pantyhose and Victorian corsets, what keeps you busiest during the week? What's your passion here in London?
So, in London, I think I was born and bred in London, so London's just like whatever. I probably don't appreciate it in the same way like a tourist would appreciate it. But I spend most of my week working on my tracks. So like I said, I produce songs from scratch, basically. I create everything from the melody, the songwriting, I arrange, I create the beats, because my songs are very sort of urban based, and I take a lot of influence from sort of UK garage, or when it was a big thing, and I mix it with R&B and a bit of soul and a little bit of electronic and a bit of funk. So it's a very sort of eclectic mix, but it's very sort of British, so I can say that. So I spend most of my week working on my songs, recording and producing those and composing those, and then if not, I go off to the rehearsal studio and I practice that.
So what part of London do you live in?
So, I mean, at the moment I live closer to St James's Park Station, but I'm by no means a St James's Park resident, if that makes sense. I was born and bred in Shepherd's Bush, and then I lived in Acton, I've lived in Ealing, but that's sort of like where I've come from, and where I live now. It's lovely and close and central, but yeah, I'm a West London girl, essentially.
So when did you first get into performing in the arts?
So first time when I was 18. So after school I went to college, or maybe not even 18, 16. After school I went to college, and I went to college wanting to be a singer, but the course was predominantly acting, and all of my teachers were actors. They were, I don't want to say failed actors, but previous actors that had become teachers. And they were like, oh, you should be acting. And I was like, I want to sing. But, the course was acting. I stayed on it, and it turned out I wasn't too bad. I won Best Actress for my final year performance, actually.
Wow.
So for my role in a play or an adaptation of Trojan Women, or the Women of Troy, for my role as Andromache. So that's sort of how I started out. And then after that, I did some music technology course on some random random course that I didn't really want to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But as a result of that, I actually have these sort of music technology skills. So now I know how to use Logic Pro, which has like helped me years later in terms of pursuing the singing to actually being able to compose and create my own songs and understand a bit more. So even though at the time I didn't enjoy the course,
it's paid off in the long run.
Everything for a reason. So totally.
So when was Kai Justine, the musician, the artist, born? When did you start releasing your own music?
So I'd say she was born around 2016 when I really started focusing. I started using an online music making system called Soundtrack. And I think it's mainly for schools, but actually it was like you paid per month, and I started making music on there and using their samples and things. And that's when Kai Justine was born. That was the first time I sort of started playing, started making songs of my own. And then I think I moved house a couple of times, and then it wasn't really until sort of 2018 where I sort of felt like I made the song that I wanted to push a bit more, where I decided I wanted to make a music video, and that was around the latter half of 2018, and then I made the music video in 2019, Books, as people may know, which is on YouTube, by the way.
So is it fair to say you're still in the early stages of the Kai Justine?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, so I'm still acting. I would say it's still definitely early. Really and truly, I guess since that release, I've only really been Kai Justine in terms of like publicly for like the last 6-7 months. No one's known me since that point. But with lots of artists, it's not an immediate thing. And I think that maybe if I was to give any advice or anything, is that if you really want to do it, you've got to be in it for the long haul, and you've got to understand it's a progress, it's a journey, and you've got to develop and get better. And I mean. Being part of the open mic, we've seen people get better just by performing every night, and it's just you've got to be dedicated, and I think that that's something that I've realized over time. So this 6-month sort of period since I released Books, I've learned a lot. I've been working and creating my EP, composing that, producing that, and now I'm moving on to like my second release, which is really exciting.
So you've established, you've arrived, you started, you're in it for the long haul. So what's most imminent on your schedule as far as Kai Justine is concerned? What's around the corner? What can the people out there look forward to?
Well, more of me, obviously. But
of course.
So the next single is Sugar Rush, and she is coming out currently Friday, August the 9th. And there's a music video imminent as well, which I filmed just like a month ago, that's coming with that. Because actually what's really important for me is visuals. So I know it's a visual world, but I've always wanted to make a music video for everything that I'm creating. So the music video is coming out, singles coming out August the 9th, and I'm probably going to be doing a lot more sort of YouTube stuff as well, live performances and some cover songs. So obviously my YouTube is Kai Justine, that's Kai Justine.
And is YouTube the best place to keep up with you and see what's going on, what's in development, or is there any other social media that you want people to check out?
So YouTube is where you're going to see the performances and the behind the scenes and the videos. So go on there. But then I've also got my main social page, which is Instagram, which again is Kai Justine. If you didn't get it first time, it's Kai Justine.
All as one word on Instagram? Is it all as one word on Instagram?
One word, no underscores. You see, I caught that. I caught that for me. No full stops or numbers. So you can follow me on Instagram, and there's going to be lots of pictures and just a bit more info about like what I'm doing, how I'm going about it, and lots of more artwork as well, which I think is really important. But it's going to be big. I mean, this year I'd say is progression and development and sort of building a fan base, and I think next year it's going to be a bit bigger for me. But I do hope to release an EP as well in the autumn of all of my sort of collective works that I've been working on as well for the last year, I'd say.
Wow. Right, Kai, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for finally gracing me with your presence on the podcast. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Roy. You are amazing. I'm more than happy to be on your podcast. It's the best, by the way.
Thank you. Till next time. Take care. Thanks. And that was that. Thank you very much, Kai, for your time. It was great to finally talk to you for the podcast. I've spoken to her before. I've worked with her in the open mics before, and I knew she'd be great, and she absolutely was. I look forward to talking to her again in the near future, because as is often the case, there was more stuff we talked about after I finished recording that would be great for the podcast, but it's a daily one, so I think I'll find some episodes in the future where we can talk again. But thank you very much, Kai, for your time. As for me, I am hours away from playing my show at Road Trip and the Workshop. It's happening tonight. In fact, at time of recording this, I have yet to tell Kai where it's happening because she said she might come by with her camera. Like I said, she is a person of many talents. I am mildly freaking out about tonight's show because I swear it's like a sickness that just leads me towards last minute preparation. The sound tech is all sorted, the other performers are all sorted, the timetable for the evening is sorted. At least this whole thing that I'm on is meant to be a bit of a gentle step towards playing live in London. So at least when it comes to sound check and all that, all of the artists I have tonight are solo artists, so it's just them and their instruments that need to be checked. Whereas if it was full bands, it would be, okay, we need full drum kits, tear down and build up the next drum kit, different amps or guitar pedals, etc., etc. So at least things are a bit more stripped down and simple, but still, I want tonight to go well. And as I've said many times on this podcast, the quiet before the storm is the most stressful part, and that's exactly where I'm sitting right now. So let me say goodbye and get back to my stressing. Thank you all very much for listening. Thanks again to Kai for being on today's episode. Hello to Marianne, by the way, who was at the open mic last night, as was Nicole, as was George, as was Izzy. Yeah, the roster's growing pretty quickly with people that I've spoken to. It's getting hard to go to an open mic and see no one that I've spoken to, which I really like. And thank you, by the way, there was one performer whose name escapes me, so bear with me while I dial it up on my phone here, real subtle like. Talia Ray. I did a little speech on the microphone about how I have a show coming up and we have other open mics, and give it up for our host George. And as I was going to leave, Talia's dad stopped me and said, "Roy, you don't know me, but you're going to want to listen to this next performer." He said he was a little biased because it was his daughter, but I was touched by his approach, so I stuck around, and she was fantastic. I got her Instagram, so hopefully I might have her on a future episode as well. But that's enough for me. When I panic, when I'm stressing, I tend to ramble. I'm such a good procrastinator. I wish there was a way to make money procrastinating, but alas, there isn't. Thank you all very much for listening. I will catch you on the next episode. Take care.